Welcome to the second installment of Socrates Saturday. How we feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling sick is how I'm feeling.
You're feeling sick.
Yeah, you could probably tell by how I sound, but
Besides that,
we're I'm feeling good. Uh, being sick is no excuse for not thinking. So,
I reckon it could be, but you wanna get into our opener?
yeah, sure.
Okay, so our opener for the week is, can you be friends with someone with different political opinions?
Uh, who wants to start with this one?
I think I'd like to hear what you have to say first.
Okay. Um, so I would say no, but also I will admit that I don't follow that rule very well. Uh, like because I follow my belief system and I have searched through all these different ideologies and I've picked the ones that I think are the best and are the greatest. I think that everyone should follow that. Like you have your own ideologies, but by not, how do I describe this? It's like I wouldn't have a political leaning that I don't agree with. And the fact that I agree with my own political leaning implies that it is what I think everyone should follow, right?
Yeah.
So I think that you can't be friends with someone who has a radically different political leaning than you. Obviously, there's like leeway with that of like maybe someone else is not as um, skewed to the right or the left um, than you are, or maybe they're more skewed and you can be like that. But if they're, it's like radically different, like I'm uh, far left and they're far right, I think that you can't, in good conscience, be a friend and have an intelligent discussion with them because, well, you can have an intelligent discussion, but you can't um, be friends with them um, because they are so like, I don't want to say against you, but like they are
Hmm.
in kind of a way. And this isn't to say like you can't discuss with people outside of your political leaning um because you can and absolutely should do that, but being friends with them is like in a way showing support of that idea.
Yeah. Um, do you think that it's possible to coexist in the same space, like for example, as like a coworker?
um it is possible and I do it a lot, but I hate doing it. um like that's one of the closest things that I personally can get to being to showing like a form of moral evil is like coexisting with a coworker who believes something. Like my old boss, this is so my old boss used to,
I believe I was able to make out that you said that your boss believed that aliens built pyramids, but that's about all.
yeah, yeah. So my boss believed that aliens built the pyramids, and that was such like a fundamentally wrong belief that I almost like quit,
That's
but
crazy.
I didn't.
But you
Um,
didn't.
and I think, yeah, like I think morally, I probably should have at least talked to them or quit. Like either educate them in what I believe to be a moral good, or leave the space. But I didn't because I'm a coward.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to do those things and have those sort of discussions for sure. Um,
Yeah,
so I'm gonna give my thoughts now if that's all right.
yeah.
Okay, so I think the short answer is no. Particularly if you are a marginalized group, because if you're a marginalized group, people who don't agree with you politically tend to just disagree with your existence as a whole. And for me, that's my only experience being alive, I guess, or like existing and like existing around people who disagree politically is that they just disagree with my existence. And I think this is like a very like closed mind perspective because it's just what I've lived, but no, you just can't exist together. It's like you don't respect me as a human, I can't be your friend. And it's like it's not something I'm just gonna like let slide. And I think that's like
Yeah,
about
that's
all.
absolutely it. Like, no, you got this.
I think that's about all I have to say, honestly.
Well, well, that's a sentiment I like completely agree with. Um, I definitely think that there's a point where someone who disagrees like can be a friend with me, but after it gets past a certain threshold, I'd say as soon as they reach like center on a political spectrum, then that's when I like can't really, in good conscience, be a friend with somebody or hang out with them.
Yeah, I totally get that. And I think that like it's important to like see things from the perspective of other people, but there's like a time and a place, and there's some people that you just can't like interact with, and that way some people you have to both go into a discussion being open-minded, and that's just kind of hard to come by, you know?
Yeah,
But like overall, I don't think like a friendship can work, at least from my perspective and my worldview.
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, yeah, I guess I can. I could do like a devil's advocate comes out sometimes.
Yeah, do it.
Um, I think that like the argument to it is that if you don't have kind of a diverse belief system or like thought in your groups, or like if you're not interacting with that a lot, it can lead to like intense radicalism and, general like um I don't know what would be
Polarization.
like, yeah, polarization. That's the word. Um, but also like in my opinion, I think that if your belief is built off of hate and like putting other people down, then that doesn't really deserve to be heard out. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. Um, I see that like the potential harm, in being around people that agree with you fully. I mean, group polarization is real, but at the end of the day, I think it is healthy to seek out the other perspective in a healthy way, but I don't think a friendship is a healthy way to seek out the other perspective because it's more than just that. It's like day-to-day living. Can we live? Can I live? And can you live at the same time in the same space without causing disruption? And most likely not.
Yeah,
And
I agree with that.
the only way that I could see that happening is if I were to concede and just let this person walk over me, which I'm not going to do. So it's like, I think that was good devil's advocate though.
Yeah,
Is that all for that?
I think that's all for that.
Cool. I want to hear one of yours.
Uh, yeah, let's do one of my questions. Um, you want to do question one or question two?
Question two.
Okay. So this question is it moral to take away someone's free will if it's fair for their benefit? So like, say I was some kind of god and I knew that if I made someone do something, and they would have benefit from it, is it moral to make them do that thing?
I'm going to say no. I think that maybe the most important aspect of being human is having free will and being able to exist. And part of life as a human is making mistakes. And, you know, if everything, okay, I don't want to use the if everything fallacy, but like, I don't think that it's moral at all. You have to let people be people and make their mistakes, or else they're less people and more of something that, in this case, that God has created and not an actual resemblance of of like an independent entity.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I kind of disagree with that. I agree to an extent, but I think it really depends. Because if this like moral good that you're gonna take or like that will be achieved from obstructing free will is I don't know, like worth it. Like if it's infinite happiness over one person's suffering or like one person's lack of decision making, then that can be good. But also impeding on someone's decision making is bad, and you shouldn't do that. Um, so it's like kind of a lesser of. It depends on if the evil that you cause will be less than the evil that is,
Okay.
not
Yeah,
caused. That's what I'm talking about.
I totally see that, and I can agree actually. But do you think it's possible to like say ultimately yes or no, or does it have to be circumstantial? Because I feel like ultimately
Uh,
circumstantial would be like the best answer
I think I would lean more towards yes. Um,
towards yes
because
to take it away.
yes, to take
Okay.
away free will to because it's a um the way I see like a a better future is like benefiting a society as a whole. So it's actually no, that wasn't even how I phrased the question. I phrased the question like, is it moral to take away someone's free will for their benefit so they
Yeah.
will benefit in the long run? So there's literally like almost no downside to it. It's um they will I don't know. It's like a uh Squid Game what's that game called? The
Uh,
game where you throw paper on the ground. It's like would you
Dog
get
G.
slapped for $1,000?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would.
Oh,
Sorry.
except in even like a less even like except it's even in like a less high stakes because it's not directly causing them pain. It's just they can't make a decision to do something.
Would they like, would they know or would they not know?
That's an interesting. I think if they knew, um, then it becomes. I would lean a little bit more towards no because like knowing about it. Well, honestly, it wouldn't change the answer, but it feels more icky to do it know that you're changing their free will. But if they don't, then it's like they just have a better life.
If they don't know, I'm going yes all the time. Like,
Yeah.
but I was kind of, I should have asked that question a little bit ago. I was kind of thinking that, like, I was just
No, yeah.
assuming
That's like
that it would be
a
like
good
something that they
brain
knew.
question.
Yeah. If they don't, so if they don't know, I'm going yes, like you said, a few times now. I mean, they're just benefiting them and they're just living a better life. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And if they
Um,
And if they don't know, it's still my kind of original take where it's like, sorry, if they do know, it's like my original take. It's like, I think that's a big part of being a human. And I feel like it's just entrapping them in this space that you don't want to be in. And I feel like that can lead to like stress and strain. I don't know.
yeah. I feel like the even if they do or don't know the end result, like it's well not it's kind of the same thing because I feel like my actions should not be dictated by whether or not somebody else will uh what is it? No, actually, now that I think about it, because if they don't know, then they will just like suffer less.
Exactly.
That's completely because they don't know. But if they do know, then they might be upset with that, and that is like a suffering that
In
they
a way.
cause. Um, yeah,
Yeah. So
but
that
it's a
was,
really interesting question that even in like my moral framework is a gray area
yeah.
that
And
is kind of hard to answer.
it is a pretty good, it's a pretty gray area, a really good question. Um, Is there anything you have to say about it or ask?
Uh, I don't know. Would it change if instead of the person's benefit, it was like benefit of a larger society or a larger group?
Benefit of a larger group or larger society? Um, could you say the question as a whole with this new
Yes.
framework?
Is it moral? Is it moral to take away someone's free will for society's benefit?
Yes. Prison. Good example.
Oh, that is a good example, actually. Yeah.
So Yeah, I would say, like, we've kind of already established that circumstances are important, but, you know, if it's a yes or no, I'm saying yes.
Yeah. I could I could very easily tie this into last week's question with the ones who walk from Omelas,
Yeah, for sure.
because that's like taking one person's free will, like torturing them for all eternity, for benefit of a perfect society.
Yeah.
Um, but where I think this differs from Omelas is that taking a free will doesn't inherently mean like torturing them or doing anything. It means they could just change a decision, or maybe it's a decision that they would make normally, um, for society's benefit,
Yeah.
which is why I think taking away their decision making, just even for a little bit, is fine.
I also think it's fine and moral. Um, yeah, I think that's about it for that for me.
Cool. Yay.
Yay. So I want to ask this question. It's a little bit hard to phrase, but I'm going to try anyways. And is it moral to be a token friend?
Can you like elaborate on what a token friend means?
Yeah. So for example, you're a marginalized group and then you're around people who keep you around just because you're part of that marginalized group. And they kind of use you as like, I can't be racist, I have a black friend type thing.
Well, I think there's layers to that. Like,
For sure.
if they're friends with you because you're like a cool person and you're interesting to talk to, then like that's completely fine, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they're friends with you because they're going to use you as like not a scapegoat, but like an excuse to partake in bigotry or like some behavior like that, then that's not moral. But
Okay.
that's not a fault of you, that's a fault of them.
But okay.
It's not moral for
What
yeah.
if their motivation isn't to do that, but they still use that kind of excuse of like you're an exception.
I don't think it really matters. They're still doing it, right?
Yeah, like they're still saying like I'm not racist, I have a black friend.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. They're still doing it. They're still like participating in a form of bigotry, even if it's not an
Yeah.
intentional form of bigotry.
So my question to you is it moral for you to be friends with this person?
I would say it isn't. It isn't moral to be friends if you are continuing to be friends with them. Um, but I think that it's not like your fault that they're doing that.
Yeah,
It's
for
on
sure.
them to change their behavior. But if you are unable to like assist in them changing their behavior, then it's more moral to just leave a friend group like that.
Yeah, so this is my main devil's advocate kind of thing here is like, what if you are appealing to them and like you're kind of exposing them to this group? Like, is that worth it? Or is it just better to just get out and just assume that they're not going to change their mind? Like, is it even worth trying to change their mind, basically?
Like, you mean that like by virtue of being there,
Yes,
you're
by virtue
helping
of
like
yeah, by virtue of just existing near them and being a regular human, you're appealing to them like as a human. You're appearing as more than just a marginalized group. You're appearing as a human, which I feel like that's a big thing.
um I can like agree that is a big thing, but I've also found that most people like that who have friends in marginalized groups usually carry and are have some form of bigotry in them. Usually carry the belief that's like this person that I'm friends with is like a good one.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
Specifically with like the LGBTQIA community.
Yeah.
Um, it that's where I find that. He's like this person's the normal one, but everyone else is a little weird.
So overall, you're gonna say no, it's not moral to stay friends with this
Yeah,
person.
I wouldn't say it is.
Yeah. Um, I agree, but I also think it's hard because I have lived as this friend who has actually changed someone's opinions through just existing. That has been me. Um, but in the end, if I like these, like this is not something I did intentionally, right? Like it's just I was too scared to be like, hey, I don't want to be around this. If I were, if this situation were to appear again, I would just excuse myself from that friendship or relationship because I don't want to be, I just wouldn't want to be a part of it. And I think overall it's just not moral to be and exist as that sort of excuse for their bigotry or their, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's totally like a valid and fair take because it takes a lot of like energy and guts to actually leave a friend group or, confront somebody about that. And a lot of people don't have that privilege to do that. Um, so it's not, I would say it's immoral to stay in a group like that, but it's not a bad thing. Like you have no other choice, basically.
Yeah. And ultimately, it's not your fault. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this question comes from the game The Outer Wilds, or Outer Wilds, I guess. I don't know if you've ever played it.
I
It's really good. You should.
Okay.
So imagine there was like a world-ending event that was about to happen. Like no one would survive, everything would be destroyed. Um, but you were trapped in a time loop. There's no way to fix it. At like literally zero way to fix the apocalypse ever happening. It will happen 100%, but you're in a time loop. For just before it till like the end. Um, and you have the option to end the time loop, so the world actually ends and continues on. Would you?
Would I? So I'm in a time loop. Now, this is my main dilemma is are these people experiencing pain every single time?
Yeah, for like the purposes of the question, the end world ending event will cause them pain.
Every single time that every time that I go through the time loop, they're experiencing pain.
Yes, but they will come back and be completely fine with no
And
memories.
then experience it again.
Yes.
Okay. So I think the moral thing to do is to end the time loop, but I don't know if I'd actually be able to do it. Um, last episode we talked a lot about death and not only the death of myself, the death of literally everything. That is very scary to me. I don't think
Yeah.
that I would be able to push a button to end everything, but I think that is a morally incorrect decision to make. That's it.
Oh, it's your decision to not push a button is
Yeah.
morally incorrect too.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Um, I would probably like end the time loop. I don't think that at least through my perception, and at this point my perception is all that matters because I'm theoretically the most intelligent being ever. This is sorry, this is off topic. I was about to start yapping about nonsense. Um I think that I would push the button and like, end the time loop simply because everything has to continue at some point and I won't be doing anything productive. Like I could probably hang out with my friends talking about the same thing over and over again. Like there's no real point to staying stuck in this loop. Um, and nothing will ever affect anything. It's not exactly about the suffering of the people there. Like, yes, they will die and it will be painful, and I will die and it will be painful. But um, I would end it not for them, but because I need everything to continue in order for anything to happen ever.
Yeah. I think that's a really good perspective. Um, yeah, I totally see that. So the suffering of yourself and others just doesn't even like equate at all.
I mean, I mean, there's obviously a part of it there. Like, um, if I was suffering in this time loop, which I probably am, um, then it would be good to end that suffering in a, a one way. But also in like again, another devil's advocate kind of way, um, being able to spend like an infinite amount of time with like people you care about, or you know, um, whatever,
Yeah.
just like hanging out, even if at the end of it you'll get killed and then you'll go back. I think that a lot of people would find that quite appealing and choose to stay.
Yeah. I do think that, yeah, I think you have a pretty very valid take. Um, I agree that the best thing to happen is for it to end and time to move on. I just don't think personally I'd be able to push the button to end the loop.
That's fair enough. Which again kind of um, ties into some other stuff we talk about, which is like actually being in a situation is very different from talking about being in a situation.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
Like,
if it's much easier to just like, it's much easier to sit here and say, yeah, I'd push the button because time needs to move on. But if I'm being honest with myself and with you, I don't think I'd actually be able to push the button if I'm actually in that situation. Even though
yeah,
I think it's the morally proper thing to do, yeah.
which is fair enough. Do you think your answer would change if there was someone else in the time loop with you?
Yes.
Like,
Um, do you want to give me, like, does this person want to end it, or does this person want to continue, or like what's going on?
um, let's say for the purposes of this, like they'll do anything you want to do.
They'll do anything I want to do. Like,
Like,
another person with me in the time loop. Okay, this is very circumstantial. Um, there's another person with me. I really think that my if this person does not have an opinion and they want to do whatever I do, I think my answer remains the same. But if this person wants it to end and had the ability to plead with me to like, please end it, I think I would be able to end it. But if this person is just neutral and is like, yeah, man, I'll do whatever you want to do, I think it would still just continue um as the original scenario.
I mean, yeah, I was thinking about what would happen if this second person in the loop really wants to stay, but you really want to go. Um, but also, I don't know if that's really an interesting conversation to have.
I'll try to approach it because I feel like I can try to approach it because I agree with it. Like, I agree that I should push the button. And let's just say this person, let's say I'm finally, after X amount of time, I approach this person. I'm like, okay, it's time to go. We have to end this. Um, I'm ready to push the button. And then this person goes, no, I want it. We need to stay. We need to continue. I think I would very easily be swayed by the only other person not in a time loop. I think I would be very easily swayed into either direction as long as they're like pleading and asking for a specific direction. I think I'd go that way.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think that a decision can't be made unless both parties agree on it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna just end somebody's existence because if they don't want to do that and if they aren't comfortable with that.
Yeah, for sure. Is it my turn? I think it's my turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
Okay.
Let me cough real quick though.
Cough.
Okay, I coughed.
Okay. You feel better?
Yes. Well, no, not really, actually.
Excuse me, I'm very sorry to hear that. Okay. Um, my next question is, what is the most important characteristic or character trait for a human to have?
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a pretty open-ended
That's
one.
a like a that's a well that's I feel like I should know the answer. It's just I don't.
I can give you my thoughts first if you'd like.
Yeah. Let me give me some time.
Okay. Um, I think that empathy is the sole most important thing that a human can have. Being able to understand other people, I feel like that just creates a sense of good and wanting to help. And if you could fully understand somebody else, you would just want to do good overall. And I think that selfishness is really just the main cause of like bad things. Um, yeah, that's my take.
You kind of stole my answer actually. Now that
Oh,
you say it,
shucks.
um, because like that's literally that's yeah, empathy. Being able to care for another human or really anything is absolutely one of the most important qualities that a person can have. Um, but along with empathy, I think a capacity to change is also good.
Yes.
Like listen to a reasoning or anything and say like, yes, this even though it contradict my previous ideas, like I can get behind this.
You know, that actually leads into my very next question. I'm gonna steal your thunder a little bit.
Wow.
I'm very
All right.
sorry. I'm not sorry. I am sorry. Okay.
Well, actually, you're Maddie.
Yeah, I am. Okay. So my next
Okay.
question that you very so perfectly segued into is it possible to truly change?
Um, I mean, like yes, it is possible to truly change. Um, I think because on a physical standpoint, like yes, my body's changing all the time, but like a mental standpoint, which I'm
Yeah, it's a
sure
mental
you're
question.
thinking,
Yeah.
um, it like yeah, I've you even talked about it, like you met somebody who you changed perspective on something,
Yes.
um,
Just
because of
by
that.
existing.
Yeah, and obviously they're not going to. It's not going to be completely like a perfect change. It'll take time. It'll take and it won't necessarily be um all like they might still hold old beliefs or still
There might be something innate there, like our
carry things that
unconscious.
yeah it's innate there. But that doesn't mean they aren't changing. Like um people are learn new things every day and take that into their stuff and use that to formulate opinions. Um, opinions are based off of our lived experiences. And by changing perspective on lived experiences or hearing more, then, you can change your opinions.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree. I think the sentiment that people cannot change is actually stupid. I am surrounded by people who
I agree.
do believe that, and I think it's actually just stupid. Like, there's evidence. I mean, like, maybe do you truly believe every person who's ever changed is just a master manipulator? Like, I don't know. But,
Yeah.
I think that the key, maybe not, but for me, I'm just gonna get a little personal. The key for me to changing was just empathy, like just understanding truly what other people go through and then ultimately going through things myself. That changed me for, in my opinion, the better, and I would not be the same person I am without it. So, yeah, I'm kind of grateful for the things that I went through in that way where it's changed me because I was a
Yeah.
person that I would be unhappy with right now. Like I wouldn't be like, I don't want to be that person. But I think like empathy is a very powerful tool. If someone understands empathy, it's impossible to hold hateful beliefs. Hot take maybe, but um and I think that it's very very easy to not easy in the sense that like it's an easy thing to do, but like there are many ways in which someone can change. People grow all the time. They literally take in new information every day. I think it's actually stupid to say that people can't change.
I agree. Like I don't even know how the sentiment that people can change is even there.
Yeah, me neither. I was trying to think of a devil's advocate and I literally can't. I can't. I don't know.
I mean, like it's weird. I've heard it before, right?
Yeah.
Um, like typically in, I don't know, friend groups, typically in like friend groups, I've found that say somebody like does something bad and gets ostracized, and then they try to come back and people are like, oh, they don't change. Like that's uh sometimes not true. Like I've seen people who have changed, but also I've seen people who haven't put effort into changing, which is I think where that kind of idea comes from is
I
like
see.
people don't put effort into changing, therefore people don't change, which is not an equal statement.
It's not
You
like,
can put effort into changing and change.
Yes, absolutely. Like if you just exist and if you don't, I think the most important thing towards change, sorry, contradicting myself, I think another really important thing towards change is just understanding your mistake. Just
Yeah.
like, because if I am in a friend group and I disrespect somebody and they're like, okay, we don't want you around anymore. If I leave the friend group, come back a year later and be like, hey, can I come back in? And I have no idea what I did wrong, that friend group would be right in the sense that I haven't changed. But if they kick me out and then I think about, okay, what did I do wrong? And then I come back and write them an apology and say, hey, I realize this is wrong now. Can I please come back in? And if they still say no, people don't change, then they're wrong. Um, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I've had situations in my life where people have done something like terrible, and we, me and my friends would have been willing to like, hear them out and uh, you know, work through it with them, but they just completely have not even acknowledged that they did something bad or like put in the effort to change them.
Yeah,
Uh,
for sure.
so that's where it becomes an issue. But if I think even if you like even just after you've done like a terrible thing, like say you killed somebody and then you were like this is kind of a bad analogy, but like say you killed somebody and you're like, I'm so truly sorry, like I never meant to, like I didn't understand what was happening and it was all this terrible terrible thing. I promise I'm going to do better, and they actually put in that effort to do better. That I think that they are welcome to, you know, collude with me and be a part of my group.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Just like you said, the most like one of the most important things in changing is just effort. You got to put the effort in, or else you're not going to change.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love change.
I love change. Change is good, like changing your underwear, but some change is bad, like climate change. That was a quote. That was a quote,
Yeah.
and I am not keeping that in, but that was a quote.
All right.
Oh my
You want
God.
to hear one of my
I
questions?
would love to hear one of your questions.
I got one. Yeah. This one's about alternative medicine.
Ooh.
Um, so I don't know. Do you know what? Do you know what alternative medicine is?
Like leaves and rituals and stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, that's kind of there's a bunch of main facets of it. I just wrote down three on my like notes. I don't know if we want to talk about all three,
We can talk about whatever you want to talk
but
about.
we could also talk about them.
Yeah.
Well, I wrote down faith healing, crystal healing, and psychic surgery. I think you might know what two of the three of those
I
are.
do know what two of the three are. I do not know what the last one is.
Okay. Well, I'll just explain all of them. Let's do that. So faith healing. Let's get the question out that I was actually going to ask.
Okay.
Is use and promotion of alternative medicine a moral thing
Okay.
or a moral pursuit?
I think that. Wait, do
Okay.
you want to explain them or do you want me to give a general answer first?
Let's explain them just
Okay.
because
Yeah,
I like
explain them.
explaining them. So I picked out three: faith healing, crystal healing, and psychic surgery. Um, faith healing is like using a religious belief, or like usually it's popular in sects of Christianity. Typically, you use like the power of a deity or like a god to heal somebody. Uh, which yeah, it's popular in like sects of Christianity and stuff. And then crystal healing is where you use specific types of crystals or like minerals to activate. I can't remember what they are, but like it ends up healing you or like dispels bad vibes. That's a crazy generalization, but
Hmm.
you know. And then psychic surgery, that this one's crazy. Basically they put you on a table and perform a fake surgery on you, where they'll like open your shirt and like put like their hands on your chest and pretend like they're tearing you open with like pig's blood and shit and you, so you feel like you're having a surgery done. Um, and then they'll like put it all back together magically, and you're cured.
And this person willingly
So
undergoes this psychic surgery?
yeah, they're not actually like being having a surgery done.
Yeah, they're just
It
having a
looks
fake
like there's a
surgery.
surgery being done.
Okay, I've heard about these
Yeah,
before. Um, okay,
it's cool.
it's cool. I agree. Um, so would you like me to talk about generalization, all three? Let's, what would you like?
Uh, I don't really care. You can talk about like a specific one, generalization, or all
Okay,
three.
I'm going to talk about the first two in the same kind of group, and we'll talk about psychic surgery separately because there's actually scientific proof or like
Okay.
degree. There's a loose tie to like some scientific stuff. So the first two, I think that it's fine if you as an individual pursue these things. Now, I don't think that you should pursue them by like as the sole sort of is the sole thing you do. Like, I don't think you should just pray to a deity or you should just use these crystals. But I think that if you want to do that yourself, it's fine. And I do think that even if you do solely seek out these types of medicine, it's fine because it's your choice. And it's only you. I think that the true harm with alternative medicines goes into when you have like children or like other people that you're in charge of, and then you limit them from getting actual help because of these alternative medicines. But I do think that if you are just a human, and you're talking about yourself, you have the right to choose whether you want to see a doctor or not, or if you want to pray or use a crystal. I think I don't agree with that choice, but I think that that choice is yours.
All right. Do you want to talk about psychic surgery or do you want my 2 cents?
I want your 2 cents about what I said, and then I'll talk about psychic surgery.
Yeah. I think that alternative medicine is a hard moral evil because it promotes misinformation and promotes non-scientific and I guess psychic surgery is the exception from what I'm hearing, but
We'll get into that.
non-scientific
We'll talk about that later.
ideas and uh, the unsavory medical practices, I guess is the way I should put it. Uh, it is also like oftentimes will be used in place of actual like doctors and things, which like knock yourself out, buy crystals, pray to God, do whatever you want, but like I think it is evil to like truly participate in any form of alternative medicine. Uh, Psychic surgery though, that's like a little, I think it's evil to sell it as a form of medicine, but as a form of entertainment, because that's kind of what it is at its core, um, is that is where it is fine.
Okay,
But everything else is like bad to me.
I actually kind of want to talk about the prayer and crystals one more time. I want to say that I think that, before I said I think that the use of them is fine, although I don't agree with it like as a sole thing. And I do think that, but that makes me think of, is it possible to use these things without promoting them? Because I think the promotion of them is bad. I don't think you should promote other people to solely use these things. So like, uh, is it possible to use them without promoting them essentially?
I don't think so
Yeah,
because
I don't really
like
think so
typically
either.
like that's kind of what promotion is like using an item, especially publicly. Like,
Yeah. So honestly, I think I'm going to kind of change my answer just because thinking about it deeply, there is no true way to use it without promoting it, and I don't think these ideas should be promoted. So
yeah,
I don't really think that they should be used as the sole thing, like I said before, as the sole form of medicine. Yeah, I don't think that's moral at all. Okay, is it psychic surgery time?
I have one more thing to say.
Okay, go for it.
Well, it's kind of just like an addition to, I guess, crystals, because it not like talking about promoting it, like promoting the use of medicine that has no scientific evidence of working. All crystals are also like very unethical to even obtain. uh, like the mining operations that you have to go through for that are terrible and horrendous, um, which is bad.
Yeah, I could only imagine. Yeah, terrible. Sorry. Not sorry. It's our podcast. Okay.
Sorry.
Uh, so so when I said that there's like like a loose degree of scientific relation to these surgeries, what I was thinking of are placebos and how like throughout studies for medicine and surgery there needs to be a control group. So what they do is they use a placebo where they either give them a fake pill or they perform a fake surgery. But the major difference is that this person thinks that they're getting the real thing, and from what I'm understanding, that is not the case in these psychic surgeries.
That is not the case. I mean, placebo definitely does play a big effect in all forms of alternative medicine. But psychic surgeries, the patient or like the person who's being operated on has to be fully conscious and like watching.
Okay, well, I'll say what I had to say, and then we can see how much we can discuss how much we think it applies, because the more that I'm understanding it, the less I'm thinking it applies. But for placebo surgeries, specifically surgeries, what scientists just found was there was actually an a greater sense of, or a greater improvement of symptoms. I think it was a heart surgery, specifically. If I'm wrong, sorry, but there was a greater relief of symptoms in patients who had gotten the placebo initially, but as time went on, the placebo group's symptoms rose back to what they were beforehand, as the group that actually got the surgery, kind of their symptoms went down as time went on. Um,
Hmm.
so upon hearing that, how much of that do you think could apply to this, if any at all? Because now that I'm hearing more about it, honestly, I don't know.
I think a lot of like long-term placebo, yes, definitely could apply to this because usually these are all sold as like cure-all solutions. Like I'll perform a surgery and take your cancer.
I see. So as time goes
A
on,
placebo might help short-term, but it definitely would not help.
yeah, yeah. Again, I was a little bit mistaken. It's a little looser than I originally thought, but same kind of premise. As time goes on, nothing's actually been treated, and if you don't actually treat something, placebo isn't permanent. I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
My last question actually leads pretty closely to what you were saying. And my question is religion an overall positive or negative in America? And I say in America because that's my only experience. I can't really speak for other places. Um, yeah.
Um, I would absolutely say a negative. I think that religion and its effects on even the world itself has been an overall negative thing, and to even like especially organized religion, like if you're just worshiping like a god, um, just because like God, then that can be that's a lesser of the evil to me. But if you're using like an organized religion, like going to um, a church or like somewhere that is telling you how to worship and what is your, all of that thing, then that isn't evil. Uh, I think that, yeah, church, specifically churches. I don't want to name a religion except it is Christianity. Has had a terrible effect on all of America. It has been used to justify murder. It has been used to justify like actual genocide. Um, and its beliefs are like fundamentally pretty bigoted.
Yeah. So I agree with everything you just said, but there is a small dilemma that I have overall. Still agree with everything you had to say, but my small dilemma or like thing that I think about is people are happier because of it, and how does that factor into the equation?
Um, I think you can also be happy without a church. Like, maybe this is a hot take, and maybe it's just me personally, but I have found a enormous amount of happiness from not following a church or not being a part of any religion. So I think that, like, yes, it can be comforting and like can lead to a greater sense of community, but it's not necessary to find those things.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that it's not necessary, but overall, it is something that is increasing some people's happiness, if not a large amount of people's happiness. So that's like where my dilemma, like, I agree, it's not necessary, and I don't think it should exist, but it does. And it does increase people's happiness. And I can't really, I mean, I don't think that's justified. I don't think it's a justified positive at all. I want to make that clear. But it does
Yeah,
also just make me
I think
like
that
think a little bit.
I mean, it may be increasing somebody's like the group's happiness, the religion's happiness, but it's also decreasing everyone else's happiness by like a significant amount. So
Yep, you're pretty much got that straight on the nose. So overall, I'm going negative.
yeah,
Is
I
that
guess not. Yeah, nay. Do you think that uh, there can be? How do I script this? I don't know. I was just literally about to ask, do you think there's a God? But
uh,
I don't know if that's like a question that's
you
really
can
adding
ask
on.
it.
It's just a new one.
You can ask it if you want to.
What are your thoughts on if there's a God or not?
Okay. I think that this is let me think about how I want to phrase this. So we are in this context, we are a lower species and there is a higher power. I'll just say there's a higher power and we're a lower species. I do not believe that without a sign from this potential higher power, without clear something, I think it's literally impossible for us as a lower species to figure out or say whether there is or is not a higher power. I think that that knowledge is just something that we don't have, and I think that creation is, a big mystery that people feel like needs to be answered. But I feel like it's just not for us as the species to say because we haven't been given a clear answer. And without a clear answer, there's just as much likelihood as there is as there isn't, in my opinion. Because like, we're all here. And it's crazy that we're all here. And
That's true.
I think that there very well could be and there very well couldn't be. And I think we just can't figure it out and no way to say.
Yeah, I mean that's fair enough. I'm kind of in that belief zone of like there's no real answer to this. But I'm also of the belief that it doesn't quite matter. Like I'll still live the same way even if there is a God. And if there isn't. But I also think I will lean more towards like there being some form of higher power of transcendent God out there, because of the fact that the universe exists. My high school philosophy teacher had one of the greatest arguments for a God I've ever heard in my life, which is that a God or things are considered movers, right? So I move a rock, and then something moves me to move the rock. Everything has a start point to move something else, and that thing moves other things. That's how everything works. A God would be an unmoved mover, something that moves without being moved itself. And the only thing in the universe that we can pinpoint that has started from, that has moved something else without being moved itself is like the Big Bang. So by that definition, the Big Bang would be a God.
So you say that we are movers in this situation. Is our consciousness something that's moving us? Like what is moving us?
Like, how do I? Are you familiar with Laplace's demon? Laplace's demon.
I'm not.
Um, okay, it's not important actually, to know, but like, um, past decisions, uh, like the space that, or not the space, like, yeah, I guess our consciousness or like neurons in your brain that fire.
Okay.
Um,
And
everything started at the Big Bang. That moved
okay,
it,
so
and then we've all been.
ultimately, all of this can
Yeah,
be lead back to the Big Bang, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, I think I understand now. I kind of lost track of if I was supposed to say something or not.
that's true. I mean, you can if you want to.
I don't, I mean, so we're talking about your philosophy teacher's take. I think, so you're saying the Big Bang, in this school of thought, the Big Bang is a god.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that something created the Big Bang? Or are we just assuming that the Big Bang is something that just happened?
I mean, it's entirely possible, but it's also impossible to know.
Yeah.
So by all like not evidence, but all like conclusions that are possible to draw, the Big Bang just kind of happened.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a very interesting perspective. I don't know if it really makes me like lean towards or against anything any more than I already did, if I'm being honest though. Um,
That's fair enough.
yeah, I think that with creation and there's just always this something created the first thing and just how far can we go? Like, and we went back to the Big Bang and it's like if even if nothing created the Big Bang, it raises the question of how, like just how.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think creation is very just wow. I can't wrap my mind around it. And I feel like to say that we know where, like, that we do know is kind of crazy. That you can say, like, yeah, I'm confident that we came from this or that. Like, for, like,
I mean, I guess that's fair enough.
I'm referencing Christianity, by the way. Like, just like, I'm just, like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
saying that, like, I think that's crazy that you can say, like, yeah, we came from this God. I think it's crazy.
I'm also I'm also just like of the opinion that if a god existed, it wouldn't like show itself at all. It would just kind of be a thing, you know?
I do understand that. Is there a reason that you think that in particular, or just vibes?
Um, well, because the original definition of a god is it's called like a transcendent god, which is omnipotent or yeah, omnipotent, omniscient, and transient. Meaning it's uh, all things, all knowing, and all powerful.
Hmm.
Uh, and by being like specifically all places, like all omnipresent. Uh, I don't know why I said transient. The word was omnipresent, but it's okay. Uh,
It's okay.
by being omnipresent, it doesn't exactly interact with anything in
Okay.
a way that I guess humans would be able to recognize because it
Yeah.
is humans and it is everything.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense to me. Yeah. Ultimately, this is a topic that I spent so much time thinking about, and it ultimately just comes down to I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, like that's it. So I don't know. Probably,
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's
probably
definitely a
not.
feel.
Maybe,
Probably,
maybe.
probably, maybe not, but like probably, but like maybe not.
Yeah. I don't think if I like had a set answer, like yes, there's a God, it would really matter to me that much.
And I would agree with that, except the afterlife is just like I feel like you knew this was going to happen, but like how can because like when there is a god, there's the assumption that there is a form of afterlife created by this god, and that our consciousness will not just die. Um, and like I feel like that
That's true.
if there was a god that and if there was like it would change the way that I would live my life because I would be very paranoid and just nervous if I was fully convinced there was a god, it would dictate the way I live my life because of the afterlife. That's all.
I guess that's fair.
But um
I don't think that being a god constitutes or like there being a god constitutes an afterlife existing.
I wholeheartedly agree with you, but just that was my first thought, and now thinking about it further, you're very right.
That's okay.
Yeah. But like I do think that like those two things in modern society just kind of go hand in hand, you know? So that's like,
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that you're right, and there's really no, it doesn't have to be that way. There's really, yeah.
yeah.
Is that all about anything ever that you want to say ever?
I mean, I guess that's it.
About anything ever?
Yeah, that's it. About anything ever. That's it.
Okay.
Everything's been said.
Until next
No
Saturday.
more Socrates Saturday.
No,
Yeah,
until
actually,
next
until
Saturday.
next.
Then we'll say more stuff. Okay. Thank you.